Former President Mr Nasheed, who swore in for a 5-year term, handed in his resignation after just 3 years and 85 days in office. He resigned, accepting that a large proportion of the public had lost faith in him and confessed as much at the time of his resignation. However, 24 hours into his resignation, the tune changed. During his term in office, he carried out several unconstitutional acts repeatedly, eliminated the power of the judiciary, and orchestrated the enforced disappearance of a senior judge of a court of law. This was the last straw for a public who had been forced to bear these atrocities. The 23 nights of protest that ensued became the end of the Nasheed administration. While Nasheed continued to turn a deaf ear to the pleas of the masses, politicians and legal experts calling for an end to the unconstitutional acts of the government and for the freedom of the judiciary, these pleas fell on the ears of the security forces. From the moment the security forces realized that Nasheed was in breach of the constitution which they have sworn to protect, they also began echoing the public sentiment for President Nasheed to step back onto the righteous path. Although President Nasheed once said that he resigned at gunpoint, any sane person can now prove that this was not the case. Today we have found proof that Nasheed decided to resign in front of the security forces while in good health and while in a sane frame of mind. The latest audio clips that surfaced in the media shows that Nasheed resigned because he wanted to bring an end to the unconstitutional acts and not take any step backwards. The audio clip also proves that even at the last moments, the military referred to their commander-in-chief with utmost respect and dignity. This audio also proves that Nasheed resigned in the manner he planned to resign while in the army headquarters. However, a video which shows Nasheed's last moments as the commander-in-chief shows that Nasheed was far from calm or respectful when addressing his security forces. He used harsh and rude language in a commanding yet desperate manner while begging his security forces to do something about the situation brewing outside the MNDF headquarters. In the video, Nasheed is seen darting around the MNDF compound at a loss as to what needs to be done to bring his security forces back under his command. Even today, there is proof that Nasheed was escorted from the army headquarters to the president's office with full protection of the security forces in the manner that he had requested for. Nasheed would have been aware that a large number of Maldivian citizens would have been listening to the statements he made in front of the media after being safely escorted to the president's office. There is also no doubt that Nasheed had the freedom to hand in his resignation or not even at that moment.
Algondu itura rajyege rais kamuga purenjenama rajyege rayitunasha adi rajya eta ginaguna gelluntake vidana kama aluganda fenna tiwe algondu mirajyege raisu jumhuriya kamu niyadum fechige istifa di.
However, 24 hours after his resignation, after holding discussions with the party officials, the Nasheed that came in front of the public was a changed man. The masses were ascertained that this is not the same person who handed in his resignation for the better good of the nation. Who we saw that day was the Nasheed who used to take his slippers into his hands and run on the streets. The man we saw was not the former president, but Nasheed of Canarige. With this change, senior party activists and members took to the streets of capital Male and began protesting. The protest showed no sign of being unplanned, but showed multiple signs of being premeditated. The big picture behind these plans was to curdle the blood of the masses and to escalate the situation in the country within just moments. The frightening reports from across the country showed that the big picture was to use the hands of his followers to torch and destroy public, private and state property. While his people were destroying the infrastructure of whole island communities, Nasheed was at his residence with the foreign press gathered around him implementing the roadmap he drafted after his resignation. The first news that he gave to the foreign media was that he resigned at gunpoint after a coup staged by the security forces. Dr. Mohammed Wahid Hassan Manik, Nasheed's vice president, who according to the constitution was sworn in as president when Nasheed resigned, was being labelled by Nasheed as someone who was in power unconstitutionally. He was defaming the country in international media and was making false allegations against the security forces.
The United States is committed to working with the new government
Speaking with BBC's Hard Talk, former President Nasheed maintained that he was forced to resign. However, even the host of the show thought that what Nasheed now calls a coup d'etat is oddly different from a regular coup d'etat. He even questioned if Nasheed's retaliation is not destroying the country.
Mr Nasheed, you are playing a dangerous game. We have seen protests turn to violence in the last few days, not just in Mali, but in your stronghold in Adu as well. Your people, your party supporters stand accused of burning down more than a dozen police stations. If you do not do what the Americans, for example, ask and cooperate with the new President Wahid, you could turn this country into chaos.
Nasheed is now lying even about the true reason behind his downfall, the arrest of Criminal Court Chief Judge Abdullah Mohammed. His tune has now changed. Statements on the matter are false. His statements are unconvincing, absurd and untrue.
Why did you order the arrest of a senior judge in the criminal court without a warrant, without any sort of warrant or due process?
No.
Because he released one of your political opponents. Why did you do that?
No, he's not a political opponent. In November, the Judicial Services Commission, the Constitutional Commission to look at judges, they took disciplinary action against the judge, and they said the judge is not fit to sit on the bench. This is the Judicial Services Commission. November went, nothing happened. He was still sitting as a judge. December went, nothing happened. He was still sitting as a judge. And then January went and nothing happened. So I had to act in the interest of, because the judiciary and the justice system, people were losing confidence in the judiciary and the justice system. Here was a judge where the Judicial Services Commission had said who is not fit to be a judge and who shouldn't sit on the bench, who was still sitting there and dishing out judgments. I had to act as the head of state. I had to defend the constitution. I had to create confidence in the judiciary. And I will do it again.
Here is an audio of an interview given by a family member of Judge Abdullah. We were unable to show the video due to the threats the family has been receiving.
Abdullah Muhammad hire kurire sipan hire kurire ning eme furtamais gagandaka egar gadi fanre egar gadi baya detereke sipan algon menge ai mi doru thalulafa eruga hori den doruga thelima doru huluwan mi haku taludan hifagen hisaba dimuga kuriga doruga jaha pasipan eteriya badej den emi hun kariga kobahi court amur bunime bes befulaku jawaben no devvi den hama ekanu ebehun vidalvi timanna men na Abdullah kariga wahake bunelan Abdullah gowalashe bunime den aru men dennevin e court amuren netiyen ebes bage geege theriya kanu evva devene den irukolu madu kurevi doru kariga ti nuwade tibba beerun anikavs wennevi mi special force ke befulaku vidalwe hama eteriya wannashe den emihun badigen eteriya dieruga Abdullah kochige dormatiga honnevi eru nidan tayar wegen chibado hollaga hori t-shirt ka sodella den diye kota go samabloge gaga hifetti ha den ablo emihun kariga mi vidal timanna hedum badal kolla banna me kotri den ekam ko se fursate ves nudinima beeruga e huri hasi fam mi hunge terega huregen hama hedum badal kuri den tere bade minna wara laduweti gotaka ailage mi hunge kurimati ga den bara bodu kubberiye ko bara bodu mujirima hayyer kura kala gotaka mi hifattagen ena evves kahala gada bare nuni nudam ves nuni idikola ves evves echen nubune huri irves sama gadakamun hifattagen kala gotaka ena koppamun beran iruni sama huri ha mi hunge terege huri asi fang mi hunge terege ya ailage mi hunge beduga hama huri ha mena fennu gota horigen hedum badal kuran bes jehuni hedum badal kollamis furusaten nude den phone was atula phone was oti tan sipan mi hege atuga den hema eneka lawyer gulalan nuni hemmi heka gulalan wes wes purusaten ne den agu war bada faaga kollam beenuwe mi Abdullah ge faratun sitange nudan ene wes kamaka emihunna emihun ai ki kuranto ene gendani ki kuranto e khale wes suwale wes nukure emihunna kai emihunna ki hama dan tayar wegen hori den ena neru no bagutu den ena anhenun ena ga hipatta dianu den e gota maseke kurima sitange mihun ama deteriya bade hama koppala hama ekhala gotaka kanta huri ingeto waran hama.
The people who are leading the pack of Nasheed's followers calling for violence in the country are political turncoats, the like of Alhan Fahmi, Ali Wahid and Abdullah Abdul Rahim, who are accused of selling out their beliefs for money. Nasheed has come out in protest, setting back the country's developments by years in the guise of returning to power through snap presidential elections. However, the truth of the situation is that Nasheed or anyone else for that matter can contest in an election only after getting the trust and respect of the citizens.